Hey everyone, I'm just leaving the Michigan Comic Con, and let it be known that I came here for a very specific reason, and that reason was to see actor Michael Ironside. Now, if you don't know who Michael Ironside is, we can't be friends. Michael Ironside, among other things, he is the voice actor for Sam Fisher, the lead character in the Splinter Cell game series. That is up until the very last game where they replaced him. But he is Sam Fisher.
I am Sam Fisher.
But among other things, he's been in Scanners, he was in Top Gun, he was in Starship Troopers. I mean, this guy's been in everything. And he's just a freaking science fiction legend. And there's just no other way to it. And I wanted to see him. And we talked for a little bit. He plays this rough kind of like, what do you want? You know, that kind of thing. But he's a great guy. It was a great interchange with him, took a photograph, all that kind of stuff. Well, let me tell you, man, this place is off the chain when it comes to sci-fi stuff. I mean, this is a different world. And that's cool. You know, there are a lot of people in costumes. I mean, costumes, like characters I never even heard of before, let alone can identify. And a lot of Star Wars stuff, a lot of superheroes. I talked to a guy, and we had a pleasant conversation about Superman, versus Man of Steel. It's amazing what happens when you get off the internet and you talk to people. But he was cool about it. We both admitted that Henry Cavill was a pretty good actor, and he just didn't get his chance. But he really enjoyed Superman. He said it gave him hope for the future of the DC universe, and that's cool, man. I don't have a problem with that. So it was fun, and there were a lot of people this was their element. And I've said it before, and I know a lot of people like to tease me about this, but this is not my element. This is not a kind of thing that I enjoy going to. I went to see Michael Ironside because he's not doing the voice acting anymore, and I've heard various things about his health, and I wanted to see. And like I said, I was a kid when I first saw him in V, when he played Ham. And it was just, ever since then, every time you see him, it's like, oh, that's the dude. And when he was in Splinter Cell, it's like, that's the guy from V. He's just a really cool guy. And meeting him on park, very humble, very nice guy. The crowd, the group in front of me, he was talking to the kids, be good to your sister and joking around with him. Somebody said, you should have wore your Lions jersey. He says, well, I'm from Toronto, so that kind of thing. He's just a nice guy. And, I had an opportunity to meet Stan Lee, and I was grateful to get to see that before he passed on. So not wishing any ill health on Michael Ironside, but I don't know how long he's going to be doing this sort of thing. So I wanted to see him. But the rest of this world, it's just people doing their thing. And to be completely honest, I have absolutely no problem with people doing their own thing. If you're not bothering me, why should I care? And there were people in every manner of costume and, T-shirts and everything. People, they were selling lightsabers, that you could buy and it lights up and everything. And there was the 501st. You don't know who the 501st is. They are cosplayers who, to get in, your costume has to be movie accurate. And they do wonderful things. They do charity work. So what charities are the 501st reporting here?
Well, today we're collecting for Make-A-Wish. We've got a collection bucket at our table, and the Black is also collecting.
Cool. Around the country, there's multiple chapters. So, these are people really doing good, but they're, Star Wars fans to the nth degree, and that's cool. Everything that's not for you is not necessarily a bad thing. So I went there, I walked among the nerds, and they didn't invite me or anything. I had a few conversations with them, and then I went home. But I could see people really enjoying this thing. I mean, there was just stuff everywhere. There were actors of, all kind of different movies. It's like, hey, I know that guy. And, they were mingling with the fans, which is very cool. It's always cool to see performers, there with their fans. I bought another comic book that I mentioned a few videos ago that I met a guy online who told me that the issue number for the first comic book I met, and that was a long story. But I never finished the story. Now I bought the comic book to finish the story. So, it's cool, and like I said, people doing their own thing, you're not bothering me, party on, Garth. I don't care who you sleep with or who you dress up as. It was a great time. I mean, I'm sure by the time you see this, the convention will be over. But if you got a itch that can be scratched by sci-fi, go check out your local comic book convention. It's interesting, even if you're not a full-blown card carrying nerd. What do you guys think? Comment below.